Team, welcome back to the podcast. This podcast has had so many different names and brands and identities, and I feel like I'm forever changing it. But the one thing is, the whole point of it was always to help women live a richer life. And when I started the YouTube channel, and earlier this year when I rebranded this podcast, it was to Jules Life, Fitness and Business. And it just didn't quite sit right with me. But when things don't quite just sit right, and I'm not sure why, it doesn't stop me from doing anything. I just go ahead with stuff anyway. And I find that people generally fall into two camps: the people that overthink things and should probably take a bit quicker action. And then there's me on the absolute opposite end of the scale who doesn't overthink things probably when she should, and I just take far too much quick action. And actually, my best friend Marisa, who was my first ever business mentor, she wasn't my best friend at the time. I didn't know her when she became my business mentor, really. But her piece of advice that just literally lives rent free in my head constantly when I go to do something is sit with it. Whenever I go to make big decisions, I like to make decisions really quickly and take really quick action. And I am and can be very reactive to things because I'm always quickly seeking solutions, which is a great trait to have in business, especially that you're always seeking solutions. But a lot of the time, I'm very aware that I don't think them through just quite enough. So I've always got Marisa's voice in my head saying, at least sit with it for 24 hours. So when it came to naming the podcast and branding the podcast, and also starting the YouTube channel, if you go back and watch the very first vlog on the YouTube channel, I just started talking and making a video, and I'm like, what am I going to call this? Jules Life, Fitness and Business? Sure, okay, let's go with that. And that's what I called it. No real thought went into it. I just come up with it on the spot and ran with it, which is fine. These things are totally fine to just come up with things on the spot and run with them. But as I have made these podcasts, I'm like, do you know what? The vlogs where I'm doing bits and pieces in life and I'm talking about my journey in business and my fitness journey and my life, yeah, those vlogs probably are Joe's life, fitness, and business. But the podcast's a whole different thing. And the whole point of the podcast was always, even when it was just fitness and nutrition and mindset based, helping people with their fitness journeys and their health journeys, the whole point of it then still was helping women live their rich life. And now I want to be able to help everyone I work with because a lot of the women that I work with are business owners, they're entrepreneurs, but they're also people that are looking after their health, their wellness. It is all the one common thread that goes through absolutely every woman I work with is she wants to live her rich life. She is a ambitious, can-do, action taker who is building her rich life. So I'm going to rebrand the podcast yet again because, well, why not? You're never stuck in any decisions you make. And this is probably why I do make decisions really quickly because I'm not risk averse at all. Again, could be a wee bit of a problem here and there. But I'm like, do you know what? We'll just start and we'll just figure it out as we go. And although that is a great trait to have for most things, I think it is important to be aware when maybe you have a wee bit too much of a helpful trait because people being perfectionist and wanting to look at every detail, great trait, but if you do it too much, it's going to hold you back. And like me, the action taking, we'll figure it out as we go, great trait, but sometimes it leads you to problems if you don't give it enough thought. So it's trying to bring those two things into the middle. But with most things, and this is actually probably quite a good bit of advice, just start. You don't need to have absolutely everything planned out, lined up, sorted, and thought about before you start something. And I kind of knew with the podcast that the Jules Life Fitness and Business wasn't the right brand name, right identity, right vibe for the podcast, but I didn't know what it was. So I thought, what I'm going to do is just start it, start making episodes, start talking to people, start putting stuff out, and then the right identity and vibe and brand will come to me. And it has. And it is the Rich Life for Women podcast with Jules. That's too long a title. The Rich Life for Women podcast. Because All of the women that engage with this podcast, that watch the podcast on YouTube, that I speak to on social media, they have that in common. They are building their rich life. And that's kind of what I want to chat about today is we're in just now in December 2025. So everybody naturally will be thinking about goals for 2026. And when it comes to goal setting, a lot of people set goals based on the actions they need to take to get there, as opposed to setting the goal on actually what you want the outcome to be. Where do you want to get to? What do you want to gain? And then break that down into actions. For example, let's take business, for example. So people like setting a goal of, I want to earn revenue of £5,000 a month. And then they're focusing everything on this revenue of £5,000 a month. But what is it you want from that £5,000? What's the point of the £5,000? What, earning a revenue of £5,000 a month, what will that change in your life? What will that allow you to do? What will it make your life look like? What stresses will it alleviate? What freedoms will it buy you? And that's the goal. They're the rich life things, the things that you get to do because of the revenue. So actually, the revenue's not the goal. It's a wee bit like weight loss. And people be like, I want to lose £15. Right, but why do you want to lose £15? What is the outcome that you're looking for? Because people are like, well, I want to feel better in my clothes. I want to feel fitter. I want to move better. I want to have less aches and pains. I want to look a specific way. That's the outcome you're chasing. That's actually the goal. The £15 that you want to lose is your vehicle to the goal. It's how you get to the goal. So the actual losing £15, very much like the earning £5,000 in revenue, that's not actually the goal. They're the means to the end. They are the actions and the vehicle to the goal. They're not the goal. So what I want you to think about for next year for building your rich life, and let's break this down into categories. What do you want your whole life to look like? What are the things that are important to you in your life that if you had all of these things that you'd be like, it's a good day, it's a good week, it's a good month. What are those things? And when we talk about rich life, it's very, very often not financial. The financials allow you to live the rich life, but the money itself isn't rich life. Rich life is enjoying the mundane, day to day, living normal life. Rich life isn't for 2 weeks a year going on a massive holiday to Florida or the Far East. And then the other 50 weeks, you're like, this sucks. This is miserable. That's not rich life. That's affording something to do it for a fortnight. Rich life is being happy in the day to day. And obviously, everybody will still have days that they're like, oh, this sucks. That's normal. That's just being a human. But rich life is enjoying your work, enjoying the house you live in, enjoying the mundane tasks and the things that come up every day. It's enjoying your fitness routine, it's enjoying your nutrition. It is just the what people would call the simple things in life. And that's not to say rich life isn't about achieving big, massive goals. So putting 10k in your investment account, building yourself financial freedom is also rich life. For some people, having an investment account with a certain figure in it will kind of not matter to them because they'll not be that bothered about finances. That's not their rich life. For other people, it'll be not having to start work until 10 o'clock in the morning so that they can go out a big long walk with their dog in nature every morning to start their day. Other people will be quite happy to get up and start working at 5 a.m. because they'll be buzzing about what they're creating and they're most productive at 5 in the morning. So they like to get up, get ready, and be at their desk for 5:30. To somebody else, that's rich life. And this is what I want you to think about. Look at all areas of your life. Look at your career, your family and friends, your health and wellness, and look at everything you do in a week. And I am talking average week because what I want you to goal set on is average week, not best week. We're all going to have best weeks where we go on holiday, we maybe get a new car, you move house. Well, maybe it's 3 weeks after you move into your new house because the actual week you move to your new house is probably not going to be a best week because that can be a bit stressful. But what happens in an average week? How can you create a rich life based on your most average week. Because if you can enjoy and be buzzing and be happy and be like, oh, this fills my cup on an average week, on your basic, mundane, regular old week, if that kind of week is lighting you up and you think this is a good way to live, if the average week lights you up, imagine what your best week's going to look like. And your best week, your week of a big holiday, the week of something big happening, is probably few and far between. There's not going to be hundreds of those weeks in your year, but there will be lots of average weeks. So take some time, sit down, look at all of the areas of your life, all of the mundane tasks. What do you do now in an average week? Even write down what you do now in an average week, what an average week looks like now in terms of like picking the kids up from school, taking the dog out, what happens in the house, what happens with your partner, what happens with your friends. Things that you do kind of probably without thought. And what you want to look at is where is that now? And where would you like that to be in a year's time? What do you need to change in your life so that you look at an average week and you're like, this is my rich life? See, for me, it's things like not starting work first thing on a Monday morning. It is being able to, on a Monday, go for a coffee with my pal. It is being able to meet pals for coffees during the week at random times. I'm not stuck to a desk 9 to 5. I can take the dog out. I can go and meet pals. I can, this is one of my favourite ones, if I am just not feeling it and I'm not feeling creative and it's winter and it's a bit cold, I can go in a bath at 11 o'clock in the morning and just read my book for an hour. To me, that is rich life. Would I substitute out the going for coffees with pals, not working at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, going in a bath in the middle of the working week? Would I substitute that out for a job where I had to be at a desk in an office 9 to 5? Say that paid me twice as much money as I made now. Actually, no, because I value those rich life things, those things that make me feel like I don't actually have a job, that I work, but I don't have a job because I've got so much freedom and flexibility in my week to do the wee things that I love, the wee things that bring me joy. Think about what would bring you the most joy in your week. What can you change in terms of your daily habits? What can you change in terms of your business or your career? Where do you want your business or your career to go? How can you improve your relationships with family, with friends? Do you want to see people more? Do you want to see some people less? Which could be rich life. Setting boundaries and maybe staying away from certain people will also enhance your rich life if they are bringing you down. So think about, what do you want your rich life to look like? And I want you to create a vision of your rich life, include everything in it: work, house, fitness. So if maybe it's something like doing a high rocks, training for a high rocks and completing that before the end of the next year, being that level of fit, strong, fast, and agile might really contribute to your rich life. Being able to go to the gym twice a week, being able to take a reformer class once a month. What is it that makes up your rich life? So have a think about all of the average weeks, what you want them to include, what you want them to not include, what do you want to take out of these weeks, and what would make your average week a rich life week. Think about that for December 2026. And then once you know what that rich life is, then work back. How do you get there? Is that changing up your fitness routine? Is it getting a coach? Is it losing weight? Is it gaining weight? Is it getting stronger? Think about your career. Do you want to start a new business? Do you want to change your business? Do you want to change career? Do you want to change job? Do you need to earn more money or bring in more revenue in order to get to that rich life? So rather than goal setting on the tasks it takes to get to your goal, I want you to think about the goal. What is the overall goal? What is the rich life goal? Start with that and then break it down into the steps you need to take to get there, i.e., maybe it's weight loss, maybe it is rehabbing an old injury, maybe it is improving your nutrition habits, maybe it's earning more money. Those are the steps, those aren't the goals. What is the goal? What is your rich life goal for 2026? I would absolutely love to hear what your rich life looks like. So reach out to me on social media and let me know what your goal is for 2026 and how you're going to live your rich life.